Hey everyone, welcome back to another stimulus update. We are talking all about which way President Trump is leaning as far as a round two of stimulus checks. I'm Logan.
Hey, Edin over here.
So, Edin, walk us through I know he had a big town hall meeting today. He walked through for a long time, kind of their thought process on what's coming next. So, what is potentially coming next as far as stimulus checks?
Yeah, so the big news coming out of all of this today is that President Trump is in huge support of a payroll tax cut for workers. So there's been a lot of talk about everything that's been done for companies and businesses, and employees have been sort of felt like they're being left out in all of this. And so one of the things that President Trump wants to do is cut payroll taxes, which specifically is Social Security and Medicare.
So we kind of had that with the Get America Back to Work Again Act. So how does this differ from that one? And that one was they were going to give you a rebate or a tax break for up to 80% of your payroll taxes as like credit. So how does this differ from that?
Yeah, so there's two pieces to it. What most people don't realize is when you get your paycheck, you see basically your federal tax come out, you see state income tax come out, and you see Social Security and Medicare tax come out. What happens is the company that you work for also pays the same amount in Social Security and Medicare tax. So whatever you're paying in Social Security and Medicare, your company's paying the same. Get America Back to Work Act was on the company side, helping companies pay less Social Security and Medicare tax to be able to have more cash to hire people, to rehire people, and to keep people employed. So it's creating cash flow for businesses. This stimulus check proposal by the president is aimed at the employee side. So you're working for somebody and trying to figure out how do we get more money into your pockets instead of only focusing on the companies.
So this is instead of going, I guess my interpretation would be instead of going with like the trickle down, which is give the money to the companies and let between them hiring more and spending more themselves, that's how you stimulate the economy. He's trying to go the opposite route and give it to the people, those that are working, and let them benefit from this and then hopefully spend more to really not only give them a break, but also try to stimulate the economy that way.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest way to administer some sort of stimulus package. So instead of having, again, the issue we've had with stimulus package one and the checks is one for the IRS to track down who's supposed to get it, who's not supposed to get it. We've had dead people get it. We've had random people get double checks. We've had people get no checks because it's so many people. When you now do this payroll tax credit, what you're doing is you're effectively shifting the administration and the burden of getting more money to people's pockets through payroll. So it's a small switch in payroll systems, and most companies use one of the big payroll providers in the country, and all they have to do is update their systems across their whole population, and it's automatic.
So what this is effectively doing is trying to keep the money that they're giving out to people, keep it in regulation in the sense that they're not making any mistakes, because we all have heard that, so-and-so is collecting their dead parents, checks and stuff like that. So it's doing that. But then also, I would imagine by doing this is also incentivizing, kind of like how Patriot Pay, we talked about that, incentivize people to come back to work because now they're actually getting to keep more of their paycheck instead of having to, give that money back to the government, for Social Security and Medicare.
Exactly. It's just a different way of putting more money into people's pockets. We've seen this before. After 08, 09, Obama did a similar thing for, I think, 2 or 3 years, where they decreased payroll taxes for both companies and employees. And at that time, you think about it, it's a small marginal adjustment to your pay, but over the full year, it adds up to several $100s to potentially several $1,000s in savings for your household. And so it is a boost. and it's just way easier to administer.
Now, in your opinion, is this going to be enough? I mean, it's, if I think what we're really trying to do here is help those that need it the most, right? And it almost seems to me, not knowing as nearly as much as you do about all this stuff, that somebody who is going to get this break, that the break is going to be sizable enough, they may not be somebody that necessarily needs it because they're making a lot of money because it's all percentage. So those that really need it, yes, they may be saving 5%, but is 5% really enough to help them out?
In the immediate impact today, the answer is probably not. It's all a matter of where you are. So this would only apply to people who are still employed, still collecting a paycheck. So the assumption is if you're still collecting a paycheck from your job, that means you're earning the same amount that you were before all of this. And so in effect, yes, it's going to help. It's going to be a boost to all those people. If you're not employed, if you're not getting a paycheck, this doesn't matter to you. You're not going to get anything out of this. And you already have things like unemployment. Hopefully you're also getting the extra $600 a week. And so there's other programs there. So the question of, is it enough? It's never enough. That's the simple answer. But I think for those who are left out of unemployment, who are not getting some of these other stimulus packages, stimulus checks, I think for them it is going to matter, and it is going to be that nice boost to help you get an extra a couple $100 a month for groceries or for whatever to get you by until we get back to more normal times.
So with this, it's coming directly from President Trump. Do you think that has any, because it's coming from him and not from the House or from the Senate, it has any more likelihood that it's going to get passed? Or do you think it's all just because of checks and balances, it's up to everybody to decide if they actually like it or not?
Knowing him and how much he likes to negotiate and play that game and his ego, I definitely think the fact that it's coming from him, it has a super high likelihood. It's been one of the proposals that he's been in favor of since day one. So I think he's going to make a very strong push to get this thing passed. He's going to keep fighting for it because, again, it's not going to be a negative headline news of we're just helping companies, but it's also helping the other side, which is the employees. So I think it's a very smart political move on his part too, to do this and again try to neutralize and make it available to everyone. So I think this probably has one of the highest likelihoods of actually getting passed, and we also have precedents for it. Again, I think that's the huge part here. It's not uncharted water of we're coming up with something new and we don't know what's going to happen. We actually have hard data of how this works.
And that's hard data just from back after 2008 when President Obama put it into place. We understand kind of how that's going to look versus us just throwing it into the wind and hoping that it works.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So to kind of wrap it all up, just to kind of recap what President Trump is thinking and what the next steps may be, is potentially by the end of the week they're going to actually I don't know if it's pass it or at least present this to Congress themselves, but it is a bill or an act that is going to effectively cut down on the amount of tax that you pay towards Social Security and Medicare, but instead of giving that break to the employer, which has been presented in the Get America Back to Work Again Act, this is actually going to be benefiting the actual employees directly. So it's like we said, it may not be enough because it's never enough, but as long as they do something that's moving everything in the right direction, it's a step again in the right direction. So Edin, any final words, or we covered it all?
I think for this one, we've covered it all. We just got to play the waiting game from here on out and see when Congress wants to make more moves.
We'll see soon enough. So everyone, thank you again. And if this is helpful and you want to make sure that you stay up to date with everything, hit the subscribe button and we'll go ahead and see you on the next video, which will be tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Take care.